seems pretty copper bottom. Has that worked out well for everyone?
Well, obviously I don't know how many cases have gone to the tribunal on this point, but I do know one case that's gone to the tribunal. Well, there are a number of reported cases, and the answer is yes, because if, as long as the employee can show a direct link, a causative link between complaining that they can't return to work or they have to leave work because of their vulnerability, because they are in serious imminent danger to their health and safety, if the employer applies any detriment or dismisses them, then if that's the evidence, the tribunal, as I say, it's an automatically unfair dismissal. So, employers have to be very, very careful when they're dealing with people who either have been shielding or who tell their employer they have a particular vulnerability and can't either travel on public transport to work or can't come to work.
What difference does it make now that shielding is not officially in place? What sort of protection is there? Because we've heard from several people worried that people who are vulnerable are having to choose, or might have to choose, between their health and making a living.
No, they shouldn't. The fact that officially shielding came to an end at the end of August doesn't make any difference to their employment protection rights. Section 44 and Section 100 absolutely protect people in these situations, and it matters not that the government has taken away the official shielding definition.
Very good to hear that. That's an important message to get over. Thank you. Jill Howard, Employment Law Specialist. Ben has called in from Redbridge. Ben, welcome. How are you getting on?
I'm getting on very well, thanks, Eddie.
So, tell me about you.
So, I'm one of the few people, one of a group of hidden shielding people who doesn't have any kind of physical or mental illness, but my partner has a physical illness which required shielding, and so I had a choice in March. Do I shield with her, or does she live in a very small room in our flat, and we constantly clean the kitchen and bathroom every time she uses it, and I come back in, and we live in a very small flat, so that there wasn't really a choice. It was both of us shielding together.
How's it been?
It was very difficult the first couple of weeks. It was a big kind of shock, and it was really sort of, wow, this is happening.
What was difficult about it at the start?
It was effectively, you felt like you were under house arrest. You felt like if you were to leave your house, you were a danger. I mean, the official advice at the start was don't even take your bins out. So it felt very, that you were basically being told to stay inside, and you just had this fear that if you stepped outside, you would become ill. And it's even, I think in some ways I felt even worse than my partner, because I felt like if I got it and gave it to her, I would be responsible for something potentially very bad happening. I obviously didn't want that at all, so I felt a very solemn duty to not do that. However, that was just the first couple of weeks. After the first couple of weeks, we adapted very quickly. We maintained a good social life using social media, using Zoom, etc. We ordered things online. We eventually started going out for walks when the advice said you could go out for walks, and that was great. And we were able to physically distance while going out for walks. And actually, even when shielding was relaxed in August, we've still not been super active. We haven't returned to our normal lives, but things have been pretty good. Like they haven't been as that bad.
And what about you and your work? I take it you can work from home?
I can work from home. I'm very lucky. I have an employer we're a small startup. There's only 8 of us. My boss was very happy for me to work at home, and has so far continued to be very happy to work at home. But this is the key point, I feel, of why shielding should be introduced. Not everyone will have that situation. Not everyone will have an understanding boss. And whatever the law says about the situation, I do fear that people will be put in a position where their bosses will not act like that. And therefore, by the government introducing shielding, it makes life easier. It certainly makes my life easier when it's introduced, to have that discussion with my boss and say, look, shielding's been brought in. My partner has to shield. I need to shield with her. It's just sensible to stay at home. And my boss agrees.
I just wonder, I don't know if you heard Jill Howard a moment ago, the employment law specialist, saying, look, it doesn't really matter whether the government categorises it as shielding or not. The law is the law and you're protected.
Well, that's fantastic if it's the law, but the trouble you hear and you see is that people, boss, you are reliant wholly on how your boss will interpret the rules, and even if they act illegally, access to tribunals is difficult. You have to do it within 3 months. It costs a certain fee. Will you get access to legal support? And you had 3 months maybe when you wouldn't have activity, even if it was oh, it's legal, that's the end of it. You have to rely on the kindness of employers to actually respect your situation.
How long have you and your partner been together?
We've been together 8 years.
You had to think about that, didn't you?
I did.
And how long have you been living together?
7 years.
Okay. But you've never been forced into these circumstances, of course, before. How's that been, just in terms of your relationship being in such close quarters for such a long period?
It's actually brought us closer together. It's, you know, we're more involved in each other's lives, we're more involved in our work, professional life, because we didn't know, you know, we didn't, obviously you're in office or whatever, so you didn't swap every detail, but now we swap more details. So actually, it's on the whole been good. There has been the occasional moment where it's, you know, you want your own space, but on the whole, it's brought us closer together and we're happier for it.
What have you found more annoying about her? I'm just trying to cause discord where there isn't any.
I don't think I found anything more annoying about her. I found
She
habits
doesn't.
that I didn't know that existed.
Oh, really?
Yes. But I can't really reveal those on national radio. It wouldn't be fair.
Are you able to hint at what they might be?
Culinary habits.
Oh. Well, I want to know more, but you're not going to tell me, are you, Ben? And that's fair enough. I've pried enough.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, I'll get off. Thank you, Ben. Sorry, that was rude of me. Michael is in Southgate. Welcome, Michael. How are you?
Thanks for your kind inquiry. Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. I've been locked up in my house for about nearly a year, I suppose, is now. I'm losing track of time.
Nearly a year?
It's like an endless weird Sundays that you sort of lose. I actually went out and bought a day-date watch, just a cheap one, so I could keep track of whether it's Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. And it's there's no sameness about every day. It's very odd.
And why are you shielding? Sorry, you're just explaining. You've had cancer.
Yeah, and I basically, I was unlucky, I mean, it sounds unlucky with cancer, but basically, it meant I got early retirement, which meant, and I paid off my mortgage, so I lost my job in my 30s, and I was going to think about young people. I remember how frightening it was in my 30s when I tried to pay a mortgage with no job. I mean, it's just terrifying. And I often say to my wife, we're actually lucky to be in our 60s when we got a mortgage paid up, because the worry, the anxiety I remember from 30 years ago, losing my job in the 90s, was just horrendous. And I really do feel for young people that are stuck in this situation, particularly with a young family, it must be a nightmare.
Michael, I want to carry on talking to you because I want to hear more from you. I've got to go to news right now. Can we bear with me and then we'll talk in a second? Fantastic. Thank you for your patience. That's Michael. We'll carry on talking to him right after the news headlines. Bill Overton.
The First Minister for Wales says he's been forced to close its border to visitors from COVID high-risk areas by Downing Street silence. Schools in Northern Ireland will take a longer half-term break to help reduce the spread of infection. For pubs and bars, it'll be 4 weeks. And the Prime Minister's so insisting his 3-tier local lockdown approach is best. The weather, frost and fog patches across England, Wales and Northern Ireland tonight. Showers in more eastern parts of Scotland and the north. A low of 2 degrees.
LBC Travel, I'm Anne-Marie Walsh. It's queuing on the M25 clockwise at the QE2 bridge, where 2 lanes are closed on the bridge because of an accident. It's also very slow moving on the opposite side of the carriageway following a separate accident earlier. On the M40 southbound, it's queuing towards junction 4 for High Wycombe after a lorry caught fire. 2 lanes remain closed and the entry slip road is also closed. Delays on the M4 westbound around junction 6 for Slough after a lorry overturned on the roundabout, and the A23 Streatham High Road is closed both ways following an accident near to Streatham Hill Station.
Coming up at 7 on LBC, Ian Dale.
On the news hour, the calls for a circuit break lockdown grow. We talk to the Shadow Chancellor, Annalisa Dodds, and the Welsh Government imposes new travel restrictions.
Ian Dale on LBC.
Whether you're shopping in-store or online, at Visa, keeping your payments secure is our #1 priority. Visa uses the latest technology to fight fraud both on and offline, so that you can pay with confidence. From investing in the latest state-of-the-art and facial recognition technology to round-the-clock monitoring of our network to spot unusual patterns, Visa is dedicated to keeping your information and payments safe. To find out more...